I put my hair in braids yesterday without a hair tie at the end, and then I slept in them. This one is better, like, because it's more curly, I guess. This one is fine. Anyways, I slept in them because I don't know how to do French braids. Or Dutch braids or anything like that. I really wish I did. They're like, well, practice. I'm like, I don't got time or energy to do that. But anyways, maybe I'll learn when I'm in recovery that week for my breast reduction. Regardless, I did that, and I'm trying to see if it did anything. Anyways, cat food. You can hear the cat in the background there. She really wants her wet food. So give me my wet food, peasant. Wait. Yes. I just get it on my hands. It's gross. Okay, kitty. She's purring really loud. I don't think she's like, you're gonna put it down? All right. Here. Oh, just want to put your head in the way? There you go. All right. This, the litter box is confusing me because it doesn't automatically clean like it should. Now I gotta push the button. The app works. It's not the app, it's the machine. It's not automatically cleaning. Anyway, I gotta pee and I gotta start. Oh, almost fell. I gotta start work. Today is February 2nd, which is Groundhog's Day. Groundhog's Day has German roots. The tradition stems from Candlemas, which is a Christian festival where Germans used a badger, not a groundhog, to predict the weather. Good morning. Still, it's 9:20. In the cupboard. There you go. What is? Oh, it's spaghetti. Good morning. I keep forgetting that I have eggs. I think I've got a half dozen left. In case you don't know what a half a dozen is, a dozen is 12. So 12 divided by 2 is half a dozen, which is 6. Math, Anyway, what am I doing? I forget that I have eggs and I want to make an omelet. I can't remember if I have, let me see if I have any veggies. I don't have any cut up fresh veggies, but what I do have is a jar of salsa. So I'm gonna scramble some egg. I've got my pan heating up over here. I'm gonna lay a layer of egg, let that cook, salsa, and then fold. I'm making an omelet. This omelet is a fail. Let me show you why. As you can see here, my omelet does not look like an omelet. I need a fork. See, what had happened was, first problem is my pan was on way too high. So it was cooking the one side of my egg way too fast. The inside of the egg omelet was not being cooked fast enough. So then I added the salsa. Salsa, by the way, is runny. Fresh veggies avoid excess moisture. Well, excess moisture makes for not being able to cook as even or as fast. So that wasn't cooking. And since the pan was on too high, even though I turned it down, moved from heat or whatever for it temporarily, it the pan was too hot. So it was still overcooking the underside of the omelet. So when I went to flip it, it was burnt and also runny. So it was cooked and not cooked at the same time because I had excess water from my salsa. So I decided, well, you know what? It's just going to be scrambly. So I chopped it up, scrambled it, covered it with cheese, and said, cook. Well, I did put it back on the heat, but it was taking too long. And it is now 9:30 and I need to go back to work. Another fun Groundhog's Day fact is that the first official Groundhog's Day in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania occurred in 1887. And they predicted the weather was sunny enough for the groundhog to see a shadow, which means that it would be an early spring. All right, it's lunchtime. I really wish I had the funds to remodel my bathroom. Like, just brand new everything. New sink, new pedestal or stand or whatever. I should probably unbraid the hair. Unbraid your hair before you try brushing it. Look at the grays I've got here. Yeah, but anyways, I would like to remodel the bathroom. You know, something fresh, something clean, something easier to clean. If we put tile on the wall, we can just scrub the walls. It'd be tile walls. Alright, this is not going to work out the best. I'm using this brush today. And I have a sink with water in it. And I'm just like dipping my brush in the water to use as, water for my hair. Which is, it's working. It's working. It's just taking, not something I normally do, so whatever. But it's working. See, like I pull it up and it's got this drippy drip. So I put all that water right here in my hair. Alright, well anyways, I'm going to finish brushing my hair out. And then we'll see how much time I have left. Ow. On my lunch. Ow. 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 Yes. Ow. Okay, bye. So as I'm signing off here, done with work. You may wonder why a groundhog when originally it was a badger. Well, German settlers in Punxsutawney, Philadelphia, they found that groundhogs were abundant and, like badgers, were hibernating animals. So since there were more groundhogs than badgers, and badgers, quite frankly, are not nice, they decided to use the groundhog. Okay, look at shrinkage. I'm so sick of the shrinkage. My hair's long. It is. I want it to feel long. I want it to be down here and feel loose and long. Like this. Be down here. But no. Gotta have the shrinkage. We got a new employee. So we you know, gotta meet the guy. He didn't come in today because of the, they were doing something with the, what are they doing at work? They were doing something with the fucking, the hell's it? the garage. Excuse me. So anyways, he didn't, the new guy didn't have to go into the office today because of that garage thing. So I wasn't going to go in anyway, because that thing was closed. I have to park on the street and walk in the cold. It's early in the morning. I hate it. So I didn't have to go anyway. I didn't go in. Yeah. And then, so I figure I'm going to go tomorrow. So let's pick out some clothes. Okay, so I purchased tights from Temu, but the seam on the tights, they're over here actually. Hold on. Okay, so look at the seam on this tights. This is not the back of the tights. This is the front of the tights. But look, it's like if I had a thigh gap and had two straight ass legs with this thigh gap, these might actually work. But look at this, these tights. It's the same on the back. Front and back of the tights have this double seam thing. They've been laying on the ground for a while. So, since I do not have a giant thigh gap and I'm not built like the number 11, these tights are not going to work. So Temu, that is a fail. Seems like it's struggling. It's probably due for like the big clean, but it's not springtime. So when it gets warm, I'm going to actually just take this outside to clean it. Take it outside and hose it down really well. That's how I'm going to clean it out. So it's otherwise just a big pain in the butt. Pain in the butt. Miss Purdy, what? What is the deal? What the problem is, I don't have any treats. Is that really all you want, or just treats? Yeah. Yeah, see her tongue out? When she got her tongue out like that? It's because, look, and then she just came up here. She's trying to eat my finger. It's all she ever wants is treats. All right. I'll get some freaking treats. Freaking treats. And I gotta clean her, place her bag. Kitty litter bag. All right, hold on. Okay. Excuse me. I finished cleaning the cat litter box. Really, I just replaced the bag. And I took some garbage outside. And I picked out my clothes for tomorrow. So I'm good to go. Yep, I got my badge. Just thinking out loud. Work badge in my purse. Got all that. Okay. Great. I don't have to worry about needing to worry about anything really, because I'm good to go. My lips are chapped. Let's fix that. Per usual. 3 of a kin. Will last a long time. I am excited. Why? Because it is now February and I have less than a month. Yes, less than a month for my breast reduction surgery. Yes, indeed. And I'm hoping I can convince the doctor or see a doctor about removing my loose belly hang, because then I will feel very good about myself mentally and physically. It won't have this really heavy belly hang happening, so I can breathe better, work out without having to be like, okay. You know what I mean? Get some upper arm strength. Some strength. Period. Alright, well anyways, I'm done. I did my Chinese, my Mandarin, on my breaks. So I don't have to do that now. I mean, I could do more, but I don't want to. And I don't know what to make for supper tonight, but I'll figure that out later, I suppose. In the meantime, I suppose we'll just kind of chill and enjoy our time. Yeah. Just enjoy our quiet time until Russ gets home. So we'll see you later.
Well, it's Groundhog Day. Again? Well, it's Groundhog Day. Again? Well, it's Groundhog Day. Again?
It is 6:58. Excuse me. My hair's doing weird things. Try to get it to be not the way it is. I'm making some food. I got some chicken over here. We have 2 open bags of chicken. That's fine. We'll just I'll combine them together, but we'll see. Anyways, I'm gonna make some chicken and like green beans or something. Today is, as mentioned before, Groundhog's Day. We also need to recognize that it is February, which is Black History Month. Now, what's his name? Samuel L. Jackson. No, not Samuel L. Jackson. Morgan Freeman has said, he's on record saying that he thinks it's dumb to have a Black History Month because American history is Black history. And he is correct. There would be no America if it were not built on the backs of slaves. If the slaves, I can't really say that, but because if the colonizers did not bring the slaves over to America to build America, would the colonizers have built America? I'm going to say no, because history has shown us that the colonizers were lazy. I guess we could say they were just lazy, because instead of doing the hard work themselves, now I can't say all of them, but most of the colonizers, if they didn't do the work themselves, they enslaved people to do it for them. So it was pretty much, we'll just do the rest of this chicken here. I have like frozen chicken, and I got like frost. I'll just put that in there. We put it in the cast iron, put the lid on it, let it marinate in its own juices for 15 minutes or about 10 minutes, and then I'll flip them another 10 minutes and seasonings. Anywho, but I digress. Black history is American history. And a Black History Month is great to recognize all of the Black creators or inventors and things that did not get recognition for chicken and tater tots. Yeah, let's do that. For anything. They didn't get recognition for anything. So yeah, I'm just saying. So I bought this it's a scoop for like fried shit, but I've not fried anything. I feel like I should, but the thing is, like, we have enough oil, but do I really want to just use a thing of oil to fry some shit? Because I don't know, am I going to use some more oil? I can't put it back in the bottle. I'll just bake them. Anywho, so I I've mentioned this before. My lack of personal. Ooh, my lack of personal experience when it comes to the Black community. Yes, my father was Black, but he raised us in a white community as if we are white people, because he told my brother and I that we were not Black, but he did not explain. This is just to when we go to get a job, that we would put white on our job applications, because at the time in the United States they ask. I don't think they do it now, but they did. They used to ask. If they still do, I don't know. I haven't applied for a job in a while, and I don't remember if they asked me what race I was. Anyway, they ask on applications what race we are in America, because apparently that's important to do your job. It's not, by the way, it's not important to know what race the person is. But I digress. My dad told us that we are not Black. He did not specify we are not Black on job applications or when we're writing an exam or whatever. We're not Black. He didn't explain that. So, growing up, and even still, I hadn't had, not still, I should say, growing up, I did not have friends in the Black communities, because, I wasn't told to avoid them, but I wasn't around them. He did not have an interest in raising us in the Black community. So I didn't get to learn anything about my heritage or any of my ancestors until way later in my life. I'm just spreading out some tater tots. We like tater tots. I'll just do the whole bag. Why the fuck not? So yeah, I didn't learn anything about my heritage on my dad's side growing up. It just wasn't discussed. He didn't care to discuss. And if race ever came into conversation, it was deflected. He did, however, like to bring up food, soul food. But Mom, being the white woman, did not cook soul food. She did not try to cook soul food because it was not her wheelhouse. You know, she's a white lady. So, instead of... I don't want this. I want this one. I didn't check what temperature to bake these things at. Hold on. So, anyways, like I was saying, I did not grow up in the Black community. I did not grow up around a lot of Black people. The Black people I knew, we were not friends. We weren't enemies, but we weren't friends either. Have I ever been a victim to or a part of some sort of racism? To a point, At one point in my life, I was walking to school, or not school, I was walking through school, and some Mexican people, I don't think that's important, but whatever, just said, as walking, they said, "Ew, look at that ugly mixed chick." I will never forget that. I don't know who they were. They obviously didn't know who I was. And so I just ignore them and continue to walk. I had the experience I had with black people from school. Now, mind you, when I was up to 7th grade, I went to a private Christian school. There were only 2 black people in that school, me and my brother. There were no other black people. And we are both obviously not 100% black. So anyways, I didn't have experiences with black people or the African American neighborhoods and things. I didn't have any experience with that. So anyways, when I made it to 8th grade, excuse me, public school, it was culture shock because the things they would say in the Christian private school about public school were very scary. And turned out none of it was true. So I didn't know what to expect. I expected guns and violence and, well, we have that now. But when I went to school, we didn't have guns. We had bomb threats. It was always the same time every day. Not every day. Like our sophomore year, maybe, I think. Maybe senior year. I don't really remember exactly, but it was always the same time every day. So they caught the person. Anywho, I digress. Yeah, that was my experience. When I got to high school, or 8th grade middle school, was my first experience with a racially diverse class of people. So it was a little bit of a culture shock. I didn't know how to act. Very awkward child. Because I didn't know anything. I do remember in 9th grade, somebody asked me if I was black. I said nope. With the proudest thing, I said, "No, I ain't black," or "No, I'm not black." They said, "Oh, that's a shame." I didn't understand what they were talking about, quite frankly. Like, no. My dad told me that I'm not black, so I told them that I'm not black. But I am half. I am of mixed race. Okay? I am mixed race. And you'll be like, well, it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. It does. When you're talking about heritage, you need to learn your history. Know your history. And I would love to have history of my dad's side, but he was not interested. I didn't get to know his brothers, half-brothers. I didn't get to know them. I barely got to know his mom, our Grandma Dees, I called her. I didn't know. He didn't know his dad. He had no interest in knowing anyone that had no direct tie to himself. Yeah. It wasn't until his later years that Dad decided he did want to know a little bit of something. And he did the Ancestry DNA test. We learned that we have roots going back to the Congo, somewhere in Africa, roots in the Congo, which I think is fantastic. Now, a lot of slave trade went through the Congo, so anything after that, up until probably his dad, who knows, We don't know anything besides. So, the records of ancestry are lost on his side of the family. And maybe he just didn't want to know that dark side of his history. But anyways, just a bit about me, about my cultural background or lack thereof, knowledge-wise. And this time, right now, I will be watching Groundhog's Day, because it is, Groundhog's Day, after all. So boss lady had called me and asked if I could get back on because of somebody had left when they were not supposed to. So if you are scheduled to work till 5, you actually work until the calls are clear, until the queue is clear. So if there are no calls in the queue, you can go at 5. If there are still calls in the queue at 5, you still have to work. That was the one thing I hated about working till 5, because you never knew if you're going to get off at 5 or until sometimes 6 o'clock. I'm like, this is overtime. That's great. But in case somebody left before they were supposed to. So she calls me to see if I can get back on. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, I can do that. And I said, oh, I gotta hook up let me go grab my bag. I tore it all down so I can go in the office tomorrow. She's like, oh, you already did that? Don't worry about it. It's okay. I totally would have. It's going to take me probably 5 minutes, if that, a few minutes, to get back on and whatnot. And she just said no. That's okay. There ain't no problem. She's going to have a conversation with whoever left when they weren't supposed to. In any case, tomorrow is Tuesday. I shall see you all tomorrow. Have yourself a good night. I had to plug my phone in real quick, because it was 3%. So I plugged it in, and here I am. Have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Doodles.
Hey, that's something everyone can enjoy.